Hello everybody, this is me Amin.
This is Alex.
And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. So we've been getting a lot of comments from our previous two episodes. One about the QV-E, of course, and the other one was about the future of EV in 2026. And one of the, I think, pertinent questions that a lot of people are asking is there going to be a queue at chargers? So I think we've been advocating NoQueue. I think we need to relook at what the government strategy is and what the charger deployment strategy is, and I don't know, man. Okay, I mean, you do a lot of traveling using your EVs. I don't usually, because I don't travel outstation a lot, but you do it for testing. So do you actually are you starting to see queues now, or?
For me personally,
nope,
I haven't seen queues. But the thing is, if during festive season, obviously there are few areas that are having bottlenecks lah. But despite that, we are seeing more deployments that are happening off the highway. And if we look at the number of EVs we have in Malaysia right now, most of them you can get to a destination on a single charge. You don't really need to charge halfway. Like for example, you want to go from KL to Ipoh, KL to Malacca, that can be done on a single charge for most EVs, even the eMAS 5. Once you get destination, there are more charges at destination there. So the challenge is, if you do need a top up halfway, then that might be some challenges.
And you're getting a lot more EVs that can do the distance. Especially the North-South Expressway, I think not really an issue.
Even to the East Coast, to some extent, I think it has improved a lot. Especially like if you want to go to Kuantan, right? If you want to charge, you go to Gambang, right? Gambang, there's a lot more charges right now by Gentari and TNB Electron. And even the East Coast, if you're traveling from, let's say, from KL to Kota Baru in Guamusan, there's a lot more charges now. If you're traveling from Penang to Kota Baru, there's also a charger midway now by TNB Electron at Jelly. Even in the middle of Pahang, there's a Muazzam also. There's also deployment by TNB Electron. So despite having some bottlenecks at the highway INRs, we're seeing more charging options off the highway and at the destination. So for me, it's like,
again, I've never experienced a queue before until today. So touch wood. Okay, so by the way, today is the 27th of January. It's Tuesday. Usually we shoot on Thursday. We shoot on Tuesday today because we have a busy week. But we want to keep the promise and continue the momentum on having podcasts regularly. So I don't know, man. There were a lot of doubts when people were talking, when we said, okay, there's no queue, but I still have not seen. But what I see now is there are a lot more EVs on the road. There are a lot more. It is more noticeable now. Back then, mid-year last year, I thought like EV was still a novelty. It's like, I saw another one. Nowadays, when I'm going to work, I see 3, 4, 5 at the same time. At the lights, for example, lots of Teslas, lots of BYDs, lots of eMAS. So I don't know. I think the data is still too early to say whether this is going to be doom and gloom, or what do you think?
I think we discussed last episode that the sales, I think, will still continue to grow, because if you look at
I'm not talking about the sales. I'm talking about like now the sales are growing, right? But the charges, so like eMAS 7 opened the door, like kicked the door down for EV adoption. And then eMAS 5 I think will just run amok, like more and more people, more and more younger audiences. I think a lot more people are buying the eMAS 5 for their kids to start using EVs. I think a lot of dads are going like, hey, it makes sense for me to buy an eMAS 5 because if I can charge at home, it's another cost I don't have to pay. I don't have to pay for petrol and things like that. So there'll be more people using using EVs. And I saw one of the comments. It says one of the comments said, okay, the true trial of the NoQueue movement is during CNY and Raya 2026. So what's your outlook on that?
I think firstly is, like I said just now, right? In terms of highway, I think definitely there will be bottlenecks because we need supercharging hubs at the highways. But on the flip side is that we're seeing more chargers at the destination. Like for example, you look at the most of the towns, even secondary towns, you're seeing more chargers being deployed at the destination. So the way I look at it is, if you need a charge, avoid the INRs lah. If you want to have a seamless drive, my tip is, number one is start your journey with 100% charge. And then when you want to charge at destination. And there's a lot more charges at destination right now.
And if you're charging at RNR or at a highway, and you're charging DC charging, don't need to charge even to 80%. Just need to charge that you can reach to where you need to be, and then when you arrive, charge there.
Yeah, and also just another motivation as well, because chargers at the highways are actually more expensive.
Yeah.
Like for example, you see Gentari, they're charging like 170, 180.
Yeah.
You see Shell Recharge charging 220, and most recently in Sarawak, the
most expensive charger in Malaysia.
Yeah, I would say most expensive charger in Malaysia right now in Betong, SEDC Energy, they deployed a 30 kilowatt charger at the RNR that costs RM1.60 per minute.
Holy.
So that's equivalent of RM3.20 per minute, assuming if you're the only EV plug-in. If there's two EV plug-in, then the cost will double to like RM6.40 per kilowatt hour, which is insane.
Crazy.
So that's why for me is, if you let's look at Sarawak, right? A lot of the EVs right now, like for example the EMA 7, the Atto 3, many have done the trip from Kuching to Sibu in a single charge. If you want to charge Pun, avoid those chargers that charge per minute, go for like Gentari, because Gentari SCEB, they've deployed chargers that are priced at RM1.40 per kilowatt hour.
Oh, they can do kilowatt hour charging.
Yeah. So you look for those chargers. So you must pick and choose. So basically, there's a lot of places you can charge, but try to do a bit of research, plan where you want to charge, which makes it more economic sense.
Yeah.
Like for example, highways, right? Yeah, you can have Shell Recharge, you can top up there, but it's going to cost you a lot to top up. And sometimes I see people charge up to 100% when you don't need to, because when most time they can get to the destination, and you can find cheaper chargers at the destination.
Yeah.
Because like, even some towns, you can find DC chargers like RM1 per kilowatt hour, some even 88 cents per kilowatt hour. I think 99 cents per kilowatt hour. So there are a lot of options in town. That's why I would suggest that, charge up to full before you start your journey. And then if you can reach the destination single charge, just reach the destination and then top up there.
I think, right, this is going to be a concern for a lot of people, especially the first-time EV users.
The newbies, yes.
Especially those who are maybe wanting to go back to kampung, especially for Chinese New Year, or just traveling around town for Chinese New Year. I think, right, we should come up with an episode to like maybe give tips on charging, like really talk about, okay, like if we're doing the route north south,
what to avoid,
what charger stations that are okay,
what to avoid,
and especially the battery chargers, you don't want to go there and find out that it's 0% or it's low and it's not charging.
Correct.
So what do you guys think? Should we make an episode about how to travel long distance with an EV in 2026? I think we did one back then. But now 2026 situation has completely changed.
And then not all chargers are recommended. Like I said, there's some chargers you should avoid at all costs.
Sure.
What?
Not Shell. No.
Not just Shell. I mean, even Gentari, there's one charger.
The BESS one.
Not just that. The one at Gambang. Gambang westbound. That's like 50 kilowatt. Single nozzle.
Yeah.
You want to do here's a tip for those who want to create content about EVs, right? You want to create a viral hit, right? Go and try the Gambang westbound charger at LPT highway. Confirm you're going to find a queue. Because we covered that many times before, right? That's the worst place to charge on the highway, because it's 50 kilowatts, it's slow, and it's only one nozzle for CSS2,
which is designed to have a queue.
So you want to. Here's my tip. So you want to create your ultimate content during the not really wait for festive season. Just even weekends, right? Just go to that place. Confirm it's going to be a disaster.
You want a queue? Go there. Maybe you'll find one.
I can guarantee you that's the worst place to charge. And of course, there are ways, like we said, there are places that you should charge. We recommend a charge. And like we said, right, there are more chargers being deployed off the highway. So let's say if you're coming from Kuantan to KL, what I recommend is to go to Gambang, because Gambang there's a couple of DC charging points. There's Gentari at the kilometer 26 Petronas that has 150 kilowatts with two nozzles. And then just further down a bit, you have this Petron with the Mary Brown next to it. TMB Electronics deployed not one but two 240 kilowatt DC chargers with total 4 bays.
That's total 4 nozzles.
Yes, 4 nozzles. So
4 nozzles ultra fast.
So that area itself, there's 6 DC chargers which are much faster and also cheaper than that pathetic 50 kilowatt DC charger at Gambang westbound.
So I guess maybe also number 2 is finding the charger location is quite difficult as well. And you have plug share, but I think plug share also not as user friendly to use. So maybe let us know in the comment section below whether we should do one to help you go through your festive period with no hassle, no wait time, and most importantly, no queue. All right, we talked about responding to comments, so I think we're gonna do this episode quite differently. So we're gonna go through some of the comments we've chosen from the last 2 episodes. So first we go to the previous episode. So this was about the QVE controversy. A lot of people are still not talking about QVE, but I think I just want to maybe address some of the comments because we got a lot of comments and some of the comments are quite good. So let's go down the comments. Alright, Najib NK. Comment number 1, Najib NK said, setakat ni sudah hujung Januari 2026 masih tiada review QVE ataupun apa-apa konten dari pembeli sendiri. Meanwhile, Trust dah bersepah atas jalan. This is a very good point. Okay, first of all, I've never seen a Trust on the road before.
I've seen a couple, but I won't be surprised lah. Because even if you ask me to buy between these 2 cars, I get a Trust actually, to be honest.
Okay, what I think what you're trying to say is these 2 cars are really not the best cars you can get from Perodua lah. I think Perodua is going from hit to now like really not so good cars lah. I mean, we talked about the Trust. I don't know why Perodua makes it. I don't know why it has a power boot, but it doesn't have ADAS and things like that. So, but it's not about the Trust. It's about the QVE. So, have you seen a QVE on the road?
Nope, I've not seen a QVE on the road. I only seen QVE that's parked in front of the dealership. That's about it. And in fact, if you look at the JPJ registration data, there's a total of 38 QVEs registered in last year alone. In 2 months, it's only 38 units.
Okay, let's compare it with its closest competitor, if I can say lah. Because, entry-level EVs are about the same price if you take away the battery leasing thing, right? So 80,000 ringgit. So it's close to EMAS 5. How many units EMAS 5 registered?
EMAS 5 up to December, and they already registered 213 units.
So I guess for the first time ever, for a first time in a very, very long time, Proton has overtaken Perodua.
Yeah, for a new car.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the thing is, Perodua QVE, right? They said there's 38 units. I can't recall how many dealers are actually allowed to sell the QVE.
I remember 9.
Initially 9, then eventually they expanded it to more dealerships.
Yeah.
So looking at this number, I can only assume, this is only my assumption, that this 38 is only for the dealers, for demo cars.
I mean, 38 for, man, Perodua, right, during launch, right, their bookings are crazy. I remember the wait time is like months, right? 38, I don't know, man. If I was Perodua management and I've already spent 800 million ringgit on QVE, I'll be like, there'll be people fired. I'll be burning things down. I'll be throwing things. I don't know, man. I'll be throwing a fit. That's what I'm trying to say.
I guess maybe 800 million is just nothing to them because they're making a lot of money from the other models.
So it's a
CSR project for them, I guess.
I don't know, man. So what about you guys? Have you guys seen any QVEs on the road? And Najib, the commenter is correct. There's also not a lot of content about the QVE from the owners themselves.
Not just the owners themselves, but even Perodua. After the launch, have you seen Perodua following up with, like social content or videos to promote QVE?
Post-launch. So okay, again, we give some example. Proton, for example, right? So after a product launch, there will be a media drive. Even before a product launch, there will be a media drive. Again, I'm not trying to be biased towards Proton, but that's like the norm. That's par for the course. And for Perodua, there was a media drive on the track. It was done at Sepang.
That's before the launch.
That was before the launch. And then after that, there's no media drive at all.
Let's not talk about media drive, dude. After the launch, right? Have you seen Perodua posting anything about QVE on their social media platform?
No.
None. That's it.
I think it's something that they would like to forget. So
it looks like it, because if you look at the Facebook, right, you still can see them promoting POV, other models, Gear Up stuff, Ativa. They still promote existing models, but I think don't you want to keep that new launch hype momentum going?
Yes.
But no, nothing.
I feel sorry for the 38 buyers, man. I mean, looks like Perodua is dumping the QVE.
Yeah, but
from the start.
But I feel that they're not concerned lah. That's the way I see it. Because I think we mentioned, right, they are making money from other product line. The BaaS still the top selling, the Mavi still top selling, the Azia still top selling. So I think for them not a concern. If you look at the top 5 most popular cars in Malaysia, I think most of them are Perodua. So this is nothing for them. It's a CSR project.
Well, like I think I mentioned this in our previous episode, right? Hubris during the QVE episode was hubris is the most dangerous thing. So if they are not careful, this could be a signal of the end. The end would be the extreme now, but this could be a signal of a shift in what people think about Perodua. Because let's talk about it, right? So Perodua is also threatened not just by the Proton EMAS 5 in terms of the EV segment, but also in the sedan segment. The Saga is doing very well, and I think it's outselling the Beza.
No lah, Beza still number one, dude.
Really?
Yeah, definitely Beza number one because fuel consumption.
But I think
Beza is still number one. That's why I tell you they're comfortable.
I guess so. Okay. Let's go to the comment number. I think this is related. Peju. I don't know how to pronounce the name. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. Okay, he says, or they say, was really rooting for Perodua, but this car is a bum. You can't sell a product just purely on sentiment while flopping on everything else. Practicality and perceived quality has left the table. This is not 2019, let alone 2022. The market and competition has moved on far ahead. I agree with what he says, but you're saying what, Perodua is not worried because they're the number one. But
okay, for me, for me is the way I see is that a lot of people are rooting for Perodua because Perodua is supposed to be the brand that makes the people's car affordable, and we all expect Perodua, right? Okay, if Proton has an EMAS 5, you gotta wait for Perodua because Perodua will come out something better, bigger, cheaper than what Proton's offering.
Yes.
But instead, is what's going on? You're selling a car that's over 110,000 ringgit, and you go back to the origin, right? So I think a few years back, I think MITI, they tell Proton, okay, you guys, you come out with an affordable EV for the masses, the people's car, because
the people's EV.
Yeah, because the government has set 100,000 ringgit minimum price barrier for imported EV. So okay, 100,000 ringgit, this is your playground. Come out with something affordable for Malaysians. And Proton delivered with a car that costs less than 80,000 ringgit.
Yeah, 60k, man.
Yeah, so at least you're playing in a space that's untouched by all the foreign players.
60k with battery.
Yeah. And then Perodua, you come out with a car that essentially costs more than 100,000 ringgit.
Yes.
It's like, if I'm meeting you, right, do you understand the brief? My brief to you is come out with a car that costs less than 100,000 ringgit, and you come out with this. And I don't think we need to say any further. Just look at the sales figures.
He goes. No, maybe Perodua answers like, we made the car 80k. You didn't say it must come with battery.
No, but to say again, the reason why they put that orders because you can compete in a space that's protected. Essentially, you're protected because
it's your own niche lah.
Yeah, because all other players from China, whatever, BYD, all other brands, MG, all that, they're all selling over 100,000 ringgit.
Yeah,
and then you want to compete in the same space that's super competitive. Yeah, come on,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Jarov Clay 762 says, to me, I feel the car was wrongly positioned. B40 cannot afford this car. BASS is confusing and unnecessarily complicated. M40 with 120k, there are so many more compelling and mature options out there. T10, a T10 will never buy a Perodua in general. Maybe for their kids, I don't know, man. But maybe now the kids all buy EMAS 5. I sincerely thought Perodua was supposed to make a Rakyat Rahmah EV car and should include the battery in outright at 60k, 70k at most to transition from MyV to EV. So yeah, I don't know who will buy this car except for those who has contrarian mindset. So we can answer this question. We feel that it's the dealers. So you think he's spot on? I agree.
Yeah, I agree because like we mentioned in the last episode, right? Would anyone spend 100,000 ringgit for a Perodua? Because once you reach that price bracket, right? There's so many other options out there in the market.
Yeah. So I was saying yes because nobody would spend that money, and I was saying yes because I mentioned this in our episode previously. Perodua has this branding problem now. Proton has proven that they can go upmarket, no problems. Perodua has this problem that they can't go upmarket. People, their customers, they are so protecting their core and they're so protecting their perception that nobody is willing or expecting to buy a Perodua, even though if its value is over 100,000 ringgit. Even though it's a premium car, nobody will ever buy a Perodua that's over 80,000 ringgit or buy a 100,000 ringgit Perodua because the support is not set up for that. You go to a Perodua dealer network, the showrooms are not premium. The salespeople, I'm sorry to say, but they are catering to a certain market.
Yep.
And nobody's gonna buy a 100k Perodua.
And then to add on to that, right, because I see some arguments, I think some of the Perodua fans, right, because some people complain, hey, it's not affordable or that. They say,
it's not about affordability. Is that what you're saying?
No, they say that, that means the car's not for you. They are targeting a different segment.
Which segment is that?
Yeah, the people who register 38 cars. The thing is, okay, these 38 cars, I don't know how many of them are actual dealers, actual customers.
Yeah.
And to me, right, if the car is so good, right, I think every single Perodua executive should buy one right now.
I was about to say, it's all about what Perodua does after the fact, right? So I would think that if I was in Perodua's PR and it's about reputation management, I would go to the CEO and say, boss, can I do a campaign where you drive the QV-E for a month, or you drive the QV-E for Chinese New Year, or you drive the QV-E for Balik Kampung, or for Ramadan? Like, walk the talk, boss.
Yeah, get everyone on board and drive it. You're saying it's so good, you better prove it.
Tak ada pun.
Yeah.
I mean, Perodua, you can take this tip for free, or you can take this as a challenge. I would like to see your CEO, your top management, all your C-levels go for a whole month just using the QV-E and document it on social media for us all to follow. We'll be more than happy to report it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing this commenter said is 110,000 ringgit, right? We have a new player in the 110,000, 140,000 ringgit zone, which is the Tesla.
Oh yes, definitely.
Why would I buy anything else, man? I mean, I'm not a Tesla fan, but damn good value.
Yep. And then just for clarity, right?
Yes.
Some people thought that Tesla's throwing price. No, because this is actually a new model. This is basically the lowest spec cost one, as if someone want to call it. I call it Tesla Rama.
This is the Beza for Tesla.
Yeah, something like that. The Tesla
this is
Rama.
Tesla's Beza. Yeah, I would think.
Yeah. Yes. Or in other words, it is the iPhone SE of Tesla, because it's cheaper because they sacrifice a couple of things, but they still retain what makes a Tesla a Tesla.
What makes Tesla special?
Yes.
The sound system. The toys, the everything.
Sound system, not really.
Okay lah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the premium sound system.
It's even lower than the rear-wheel drive because this only has 7 speakers instead of 9.
Okay lah, but I think it would still be better. But I know that it has the toys.
Yes, you still have the
space.
The space. You still have the central screen. You still have the same infotainment system. No FM radio though, but who listens to radio? But at least you got the access to all the apps. I mean the Spotify music, all that. The ecosystem. You also have the annual regular software updates.
Yes.
And you also have the same safety equipment. Like as in you got 8 cameras.
Yes.
And for Malaysia, we still have basic autopilot. We auto steer extended.
Yes, and what did I wanted to say? You get the
range,
the space, the range, the efficiency.
Efficiency, yes.
Yes, it's crazy. So it's a no-brainer, man. If you have 130,000 ringgit,
147.
If you have that to spare, man, why not go for a Tesla?
I said this in my video that this is the Honda Civic killer, because why would you buy anything else? And a couple of Bangsa Hash people were upset.
I mean, don't be. I guess the word. What's for me the easiest thing is, let's not be taksub. Let's not be so like hard up on a brand or whatever. Because what has the brand done for you? I mean, if we call a spade, I have to agree. Like I said, if you've been watching the podcast, been following us, I'm not a fan of Tesla. They're not a driver's car. I'm a driver. I think there's a lot of gimmicks and all that, but they speak to the masses. And for me, despite the really unpredictable market segment right now in the EV space in Malaysia because of the tax and whatever not, Tesla has been consistent. Yeah, and I have to give it to them.
And they committed that, okay, you know what? While the government is sorting out their stuff, we're going to maintain the price for 2026.
Yeah, so before even the government announced the tariffs, taxes, Tesla has said, okay, it's okay, we're going to swallow it and we're going to maintain the prices.
Yep. So, and then they double down by, okay, let me give you a cheaper model.
Yeah, and that exudes confidence. And what I want from Perodua is, okay, guys, we've heard all the comments, blah 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 blah, but I'm confident about this brand, this model, this QV-E, and this is our commitment.
Yep.
They have not done anything.
Yeah.
I guess like you said lah, okay, cakap ke tak cakap ke, people still buy our cars. Doesn't matter. EV or not EV, there's still a 6-month, 1 year waiting list for the Beza, whatever it is, man.
Yeah. Or just to recap again, last year, right? Do you know how many Bezas were sold?
Okay, let me try to guess. I want to say high 5 figures. Maybe 80,000.
80,000 is 84,000 is Asia.
Okay, so Beza would be maybe 65.
I told you that BaaS is number one best-selling car.
Oh, okay. It means 90,000.
100,000.
Holy.
Yeah. And my V is 74,000. And the Saga is 70,000.
100,000 in a year.
Yes.
My V is how many? 70,000.
My V is 72,000 and Saga is 70,000.
100,000 in a year.
Yeah, that's why I said they're not worried. Because the top three sellers, Beza, Azia, my V, top three.
But the problem is there's no margin in selling cheap cars.
It's volume. So that's why the money's still coming in, man.
Yeah, it's through spare parts and things like that. Yeah, so I guess we should open a Perodua dealership, man. Print money. All right, we're moving on to the next question. This is by Takimara154. And this person says, honestly, they should just include together with the battery within 80,000 to 90,000 ringgit in total and scrap the battery lease program. In the end, it is up to the user whether you want to swap the battery or not when the time comes. Making an EV with resale value being the main unique selling point just doesn't make sense in the current EV market. Resale value comes from a lot of things like reliability, brand reputation, and market demand, not just the technical specs. Yeah, again, I'm loving reading the comments, man. So I was doing some of the research. I read the comments. I love you guys. The comments that we get is really high quality, and I don't know if there's anything else to add. That's what we've been trying to say.
Yep. And also like what this person has rightly pointed out, right? Like we also mentioned in the last episode, right? If this car is 80k with battery all in, I think they have worth a chance because
maybe can fight
because this makes it the most affordable EV or most affordable car with 200 horsepower.
Okay, I mean it's not a big appeal to me, but sure.
200 horsepower, yeah,
sure, why not?
At least there's a chance.
My bike has 200 horsepower.
I mean,
okay, but it's not 80k. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because the thing is, the swapping battery thing, right? Like we mentioned, right? It's as if like why are we introducing a new model and then you try to create a perception that batteries going to be an issue. You need to replace the battery, so this is why I give the battery swapping solution on a leasing purpose. And it turns out that after we do the episode, Perodua actually come out with like a clarification that 275 is inclusive of tax. So basically, because initially it was 275 excluding tax, and now they say 275 is all in. And what's more interesting is that now they say, actually based on their data, right, the battery can actually last more than 9 years. So it's like first you create a problem, now you shoot yourself back and say, actually the battery
you don't need to swap the battery.
The battery should last more than 9 years. Yeah.
That means I don't have to pay for the lease.
So which defeats the purpose of why you need the lease in the first place. Yeah. So and then I think we should move on next one.
No, okay, what I want to say is again, it's back to the confidence. So we talk about resale value. Okay, my point for this question is that I think guys, all of you guys, all of us, right, we have to face the fact that resale value is nothing. It's not a thing. I don't know why people think resale value is a thing.
I think this is why we should go to the next question.
Okay. Let's go to the next question.
Yeah, because Perodua claims that this battery as a service thing is supposed to help you guarantee the resale value of the car.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, let me just read the question then. Then we'll talk about this. Okay.
Yes.
We didn't rehearse this, by the way. Okay. Anwar Ashraf 9482 says P2 should be transparent to buyers. How much are they willing to buy back the body in a few years' time? They've been hyping up the RV resale value, but the owners don't own the single most expensive thing in an EV, which is the battery itself. We know how fast EV technology is developing and how even a 5-year-old EV is considered obsolete and out of date nowadays. Owners won't have any leverage if they decided to sell later. I honestly think that we actually intended to target T20 and the upper echelon of M40 is nothing more than a weak attempt at damage control. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's our show for today, basically.
Yeah, so like you said, right, like we all discussed, right, they keep harping on resale value, right? The thing is, until today, they haven't revealed how much they're going to buy back the car.
There's no buyback scale or whatever.
Yeah, or guaranteed future value.
Sorry,
like for example, like if you go for the agility
Mercedes,
financing, the leasing programs, right, they have a guaranteed future value. Okay, in 5 years time, 60 times, right, I'm going to buy back this car at this value. If you can sell somewhere else, fine, you can sell it higher. But for this QV-E, right, you're only allowed to sell the car to Perodua.
Yeah,
Perodua's
so
POV
I guess
pre-owned.
bottom line is, I don't know, man. Again, stay away from this car, lah. That's, if you ask me, that's my honest opinion. But I find a lot of people quite like the looks of the car.
I mean, it looks stylo lah until you look in the interior.
Oh, I guess stylo is the word to describe it, but it's, I don't know, man. It's not for me. It looks like a Temu EV6.
Yeah, but I mean, for the price range, this is the most stylo car lah for the price until you get into the inside lah. But for me, it's you want half of resale value, then put a commitment to it, right? Commit to it. Okay, within how many years I'm going to buy back the car at this value?
Yeah.
Then people can see true value. Oh, okay. In this case, right, Perodua is protecting my resale value because you have a schedule there.
Yeah.
Then let's say 1 year down the line or 2 years down the line, you might feel, okay, EV is not my thing.
Yeah.
I have confidence that I can sell back to Perodua and can get my money back at this value. But they haven't committed to that yet.
Yeah.
And we also discussed this previously, right? The battery health doesn't guarantee the resale value of the car because there's a lot of factors,
There's
right?
other things I worry about.
Like how this commenter has rightly pointed out, EV technology is developing very fast.
Yep.
So let's put it this way, lah.
Even if you buy
QV-E,
Tesla, go ahead, sorry.
like QV-E, right? Right now it does DC charging of 60 kilowatts, which we find it very slow in this day and age.
Very slow is a compliment, to be honest.
Yeah. So let's say 3 years down the line, when cars go like
1 megawatt.
Yeah, 1 mega, or maybe let's say the budget cars, right, can do at least
120
to 200 kilowatts, right? We still want to buy a 60 kilowatt car.
No, man.
People will look at you, hey, you stop hogging the charger. You created a queue, because you're the one charging so slow.
You're the reason why there is a queue.
Yeah, everyone can just charge in 10 minutes. You're the one taking half an hour because you're charging slow.
There you go. Because my resale value very good, Bro, how about your resale value?
Yeah.
Don't care how slow I charge. Resale value is the most important thing.
So that at the end of the day, right? Okay, the thing is, so how are you going to guarantee resale value, man? Because if nobody's going to buy the car, right, then the resale value is going to go down. You
know who doesn't care about resale value? The T20 people, the M40 people. Basically the people that Perodua is targeting. They don't care. They buy the car. They don't like the car. If they buy, let's say they buy an S-Class. This car is shit. They sell it the next day, man.
Yeah, that's right. They don't care. Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah. And then you think these folks are going to buy a Perodua.
Yeah. I'm telling you, resale value is a construction salespeople make up so that you buy their car. Let's talk about Honda. Honda, for example, right? So we talked about how Honda, new car launches, they've already introducing discounts. How does that impact Honda's resale value, you think? It does impact resale value. I mean,
like for example, let's say you buy a Honda after 2 years, right? You want to sell at this value, right? You say, hey, now Honda is doing a promotion for a brand new car. I must buy brand new than your car. Then you're forced to reduce your price.
So let's say after 4 years, right? Okay, 5 years. I wouldn't say regular, but it's common for people to sell off their cars after 5 years, right? So after 5 years is the first update cycle for a normal ICE car, right? So let's say Honda launches a new CT, and then after 5 years, they want to launch the next CT facelift, right? And then during that launch, people go like, never mind, I don't want to buy this one, I buy the second hand one. But what if they put a discount of 10k, 20k on the new CT? What happens to your resale value after that?
And let's not talk about, let's look at one perfect example since we talk about Honda, right? The Honda EN1, right? When it was launched, it was 150k.
Yeah.
And then within 5 months, right? Bam, 34,000 discount.
Holy, what?
Yeah, because when it's launched, it's 150k, right? People say it's insane. It's a car that's essentially competing with the likes of EMA 7 and BYD Atto 3.
It's Honda's QV-E. No, it's a terrible EV. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then they say 150k. I mean, I think the EV is good. Definitely better than QV-E. I believe it's much better than QV-E.
Good is a compliment.
It's definitely better than QV-E, definitely. But
overstatement, I mean.
Yeah, and then they throw a 34,000 ringgit discount in just 5 months.
Come on, man! The charging curve of that car, that EV is terrible. So I don't know where do you say that it's good?
Sorry?
The EN1.
At least it should charge faster than QV-E. But for me, my point is the resale value. The thing is, if Honda, right, can even throw the price like that, right? Yeah. So what makes you guarantee that?
Who cares about your
resale value?
Who cares about your resale value? To be honest, actually the premium brands with the agility that commit that I will buy back your car. But of course there are terms and conditions lah. Actually Perodua should have done that, because you know why? After people buy the QV-E and they regret buying it, at least they'll go back to Perodua and buy another Perodua.
Yeah.
But after I regret buying the QV-E, I don't think I'll buy a Perodua ever.
Yeah, that's why. Like we mentioned, right? If you want to guarantee resale value, then put your commitment down to it lah. Commit to our future guaranteed value. Yeah, but they didn't do that. Yeah.
Okay. I think a lot of the Perodua people will be probably worried right now. Okay, it's not a Perodua bashing episode, but I guess we got into a bit of a frenzy because it just makes sense, man. It's not to say it makes sense to bash on Perodua, but the more we talk about it, it's like the more we realize, hey, why not like this? Why not like this? Why not like this? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, so I think as what people pointed out, right? Sell a car with 80k with battery included, I think you have chance to move some stock.
Yeah. Okay. Just one last comment about the QV I wanna read. Okay. This is from Kacha Store 3262. Comment number 10. I stick with my opinion. If Perodua want his, Okay, let me read this again. I stick with my opinion. If Perodua want his 800 million to go down the drain, at least sell it for 60,000 ringgit. Body plus 15,000 ringgit for the battery lease for 6 years. Then it could compete with today's market. At least they can get back their money, then reinvest for another EV project made for Malaysian, which is affordable. Okay, makes sense. The last line is the thing that triggers me. We Malaysian doesn't need a lot of high tech, just enough for daily use and family. Okay. Kacak Store 3262. I think you have a valid point here, but I just want to share what I think. The Chinese brands came in the automotive space, right? The EV Chinese brand came in the automotive space, and it really shook the market at what technology you can get at what price, and what performance you can get at what price. And what space you can get at what price, what premium you can get at what price. I don't believe that we don't like tech. I think Malaysians are the most tech friendly people in the world. Why I say that? Because we have the data. The number 2 biggest market for QR payment is Malaysia. We are tech friendly, man. We love our tech, but we don't want to pay so much for it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and especially once you get a taste of what the competition is doing, right? Then you feel like, wow, why am I paying for what I'm using right now? Then you realize that, tech doesn't need to be limited to the rich. It can be accessible for everyone.
Yeah, it goes from the top to the bottom. Let's go to the premium segment. You talk about the Zeekr 009, beats everything in the market at that price. You talk about sports cars, the MG Cyberster, about what, 300,000. There's even a cheaper version. I can't remember what the all-wheel drive version price is. Around there, I think 300,000 plus. You get 3-second performance convertible that looks sexy. And you're paying 5 series money for it? That's crazy, man.
And then also, let's not talk about let's look at the more affordable cars. Like for example, the BYD Seal 6, one of the most affordable sedans right now. You can get for 125,000 ringgit for the high-spec version. That comes with ventilated seat. You don't get that on other cars at cars at higher segment. Ventilated seats for 125,000 ringgit. Can you find that in a Civic? No.
Oh, don't have?
No.
Wow, really? Even in the top of the line RS, whatever.
Honda Civic doesn't have blind spot monitoring and 360 camera, if I'm not mistaken.
Why
only go reverse camera?
Why people buy Honda? Okay,
Hatch.
Resale value.
Yeah.
Resale value. You don't need ventilated seats. Then why is there a resale value when you don't get all these things? What are people buying?
Well, that's why I think the market will have to adapt and respond, and they'll find out that, hey, why am I paying this much money for this amount of toys when I can get something much better and there's something more cheaper around? That's why at the end of the day, I think once the market matures, they realize, hey, I'm over paying for my Japanese car.
I think mature is not the word. I think they need to pull their finger out of wherever it is, start opening their eyes and realizing, hey, I can get much better value for a lot of things.
I think we've seen that with the cherries, the Jayco J7.
I was just about to say, look at the J7, man, dominating the market in the I segment. It's crazy. So what do you guys think? Resale value, yes or no? I'm telling you this, I've had terrible luck with resale value. My first car, Savvy, resale value like shit. Then I bought a Peugeot. The brand is now out of the country. Then I was like, okay, stop buying Continental, start buying something reliable. But I didn't want to go Honda because it was expensive. Then I bought a Kia. Kia was good back then. Now they're trying to go premium. Nobody wants to buy a Kia now. I bought the Carnival. Then they sell the new Carnival for cheaper. My resale value is gone. And then we bought the EV6. Kia not even selling that car anymore in Malaysia. Resale value gone. Motorcycles. I bought the MV Agusta. that is now no more in the country. When I bought the bike, then I think months after I bought my second MV Agusta, the dealership pulled out, and I lost like 40k of value just in a few months.
I think one thing Malaysians need to realize that cars are not investment. If you look at the mature markets like the US, Europe, or Australia, right? Yeah. Look at the price of second-hand cars. Yeah. That like
it's disposable.
Yeah, it's like barely maybe 1-2 years, right? Yeah. And then the price drops so much. But the good thing is that new people to the system, new people who just get the cars, they can get affordable and cheap second-hand cars that are in good condition.
I think you nailed the point. The point, I think, what I realize is, affordability is not the brand's responsibility. Affordability is the market. So if the market is not so hard up on resale value and speculating and faking resale value, trying to maintain it high by creating all this fake reputation, whatever, affordable cars are actually available everywhere in the second-hand market. Yep. And that's what's happening in the EV space. You get really good, affordable, highly spec cars in the second-hand market. Yeah. And what's wrong with that? So why are people still hard up on resale value when if the resale value is low, actually the market, I would bet would be better, to be honest. Yep. I think. Like even if you look at, I think China you cannot compare because the volume is so big and everything, right? But like you said, look at the mature market, right? The volume of transaction, not about the volume of cars, but the volume of transaction, because people are buying and selling is so much higher because it's so much more affordable and so much easier to buy.
Yeah, like for example, Australia can get a good car like for less than 10,000 Aussie dollars.
Yeah, for 5k you can get a good car, man.
Yeah, let's say you get like for 2,000 Aussie dollars, you can get like an old car, but the condition is still very good. Yeah.
Depends on what you want. If you want space, you can get a spacious car for less than 10k. You want performance, you can get a good performance car for less than 10k. I don't know, man.
Yep.
So, enough about Perodua and resale value. Let's go on to the comments from our latest episode, which is about the Malaysia EV boom in 2026. Okay, we're going to the first comment. Firdaus Amir said, why we don't increase our fuel price to RON 97 3 ringgit 50 cent and RON 95 to 3 ringgit. It's still cheaper than other country. Government can take a bit the profits. A lot of foreigners come to Malaysia just for refueling. To take back rakyat heart, they can do subsidy bersasar, give M40 RM 195, and T20 keep at 199. Everybody will be happy. Okay, I think Firdaus here has kind of like highlighted a point. To me what this comment highlighted is that the government is making fuel prices a political weapon.
It is. I mean, it's also a very sensitive topic. Nobody dares to remove subsidy. We know that subsidy is like a drug, right? That we give, because we are the subsidies of the petrol, because we know that we're just shielding from the reality of the market. And then the thing is, nobody dares to take it out, to remove it. And like for example, when this was discussion for years already that we're going to re-rationalize the fuel subsidy because it's not sustainable.
It's not. It's not
sustainable because I think we spend like 15 billion a year or more depending on the market prices. So they want to re-rationalize. So we first thought, maybe they're going to target those who are T20, maybe no subsidy, pay for full price, and then the rest we only target to those who really need it, to selected people. And then all of a sudden we reduce the price from 205 to 199, and it's for all Malaysians. What? Yeah. How does that happen? But at the end, I can see that there's some benefit to it that we now can track who's using it, so that can stop a few leakages. Going to the fuel prices, right? RON 97, 95, right? I think RON 97, I think it's market price floated already. It's still cheaper. But RON 95, we floated already, right? But still, we don't allow foreigners to buy RON 95. I don't know why. Because if it's going to be floated, right? Why not let them buy? And then, in fact, we can actually raise the price because Malaysians are not affected, right? Yeah. Let the foreigners buy a higher price. I don't know why you still had to discriminate. You only can pump RON 97, RON 95. Because if you float the prices, then there's no issue.
To answer your question, I get that question. To answer your question is because of perception. So when that happens, it creates because the powers that be has created this narrative that RON 95 is for Malaysian only, special for you guys because we love you guys. 97 is for the foreigners. The foreigners must buy the expensive one. Us, we give you the cheap one. So when they suddenly flip and say, okay, now foreigners can buy 95, everybody will just burn down the petrol station, man.
No, I mean, but the thing is, I mean, just it's facts. I mean,
it will create it will trigger a lot of people because you know the government has. Not the government, okay, just a power that be has put out this narrative where, okay, you know, this is how we're going to manage subsidy, blah, 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 blah. And if foreigners buy raw 95, we can take that money and continue to subsidize the 95. Sorry, when they buy the 97, we can continue to subsidize the 95 for Malaysians. So vote for us, blah, 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 blah. That's why I say it's been weaponized. When you say that powers that be are scared to talk about rationalizing the subsidy because it's very sensitive, to me it's simple. If you don't have a strategy to wean yourself out of that drug, you will never do. If you don't have a rehab or a program, a 10-step program or whatever step program,
you're gonna be stuck.
It's not gonna happen.
Like take for example the free toll during festive season. It's actually quite a burdensome for everyone. The money is coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, the
somebody has to pay for it.
Yeah, someone started it, and now it's so hard for them to start. I thought last year is going to be the last one, but they did it recently, right?
Yeah.
So I think during New Year or Christmas,
and then 50%. Before that, they made an announcement: no more free toll.
Yeah.
And then after that, okay lah, we'll do 50% for you guys.
Yeah. So it's still hard to let go. So that's the thing. So I think everyone's just afraid that you want to do the right thing, but it's going to be political suicide.
No, it seems to me like a very reactive government. Look, I don't care if it's political suicide. If you can put out the narrative and say, okay, guys, listen up. This is what we're going to do. Believe in us. Invest in us for another next 5 years. We're going to
see the change.
We're going to see the changes. I mentioned this before. Look, in Thailand, the fuel prices are super expensive and the fuel quality is not that great either. But everything else is cheaper. Why?
Yeah, cheaper.
Even DC charging is cheaper.
Even EV charging is cheaper in Thailand.
Yeah.
Why? Because they have the right policies in place. And politically, they're more unstable than us.
Yeah, they have a war in like how many borders? I don't know.
Yep.
So,
And yet, whatever happens politically, once they set a good policy, they stick to it and make it happen.
And the way I wanted, you're right. And the way I wanted to say, the policy was, the way out of this was EVs. The way out of this.
Yep.
I could charge, like I said, I could charge at home. I don't care whatever fuel price is out there. Yep. I have solar. Then you can say, oh, not everybody has solar. Nobody has land. Not everybody has land. I understand. But we've been talking to a lot of high-rise condominiums and apartments also, and they also said, look, I don't want to make money for my residents. I want to be able to charge lower than market rate because my residents expect that. They're not gonna, because they're gonna complain and say, look, if you're going to charge me the rate I can get outside, might as well I just charge outside. You don't have to invest here. Yep. So the awareness is there. People believe in it because the EV numbers have been growing last year, grow. And in fact, this year we don't expect the momentum to stop. It's still going to be growth. Maybe not as
high, it's not double.
Strong, but there is still growth. Because once people buy EVs, they go like, hey, look, it's so much smoother. Let's imagine this. Let's say it's 1-to-1. Petrol price and EV petrol price and electricity price is 1-to-1. Same for EVs, right? Even if that's the case, right, there's no biases, right? So even if that's the case, right, I would go for an EV just because the maintenance is less, power delivery is much smoother, I can use it as a power bank, I can do so much more with an EV.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so I hope that answers your, that's the response to that comment. Comment number 2. Okay, this one I want to address to Alex. Phil58 Liu asks, he asked, so bro, whatever has happened to your NoQueue? How? Nothing has happened to it.
Yeah, for me is I don't have any issue. Okay,
we still believe in NoQueue, man. There's still NoQueue.
Yeah, there are a few things here lah. Destination charging for day-to-day city drives, as well as long distance drive lah. Yeah, these two. So day-to-day drives, right? I don't have any issues because I still charge at malls. I still charge at a lot of public chargers for AC in the destination in city, and there's ample of charge points, and it's increasing on a daily basis. You go to soychincha.com, right? You also cover all the new DC charger deployments. TMB Electron, Charge EV and even Gentari, not only they're expanding the charging network, but they're also upgrading existing chargers as well.
Yeah.
So that has been continuous to grow. And when that grow, then there will be more chargers points for everyone. And on top of that, I think a lot of people couldn't fathom this, that you don't need one charger out there for every EV that's sold, because there's another thing that a lot of people forgotten is that people can charge at home.
Yes.
Like we mentioned before, like stats from Tesla, right? 80% of the buyers have access to home charging. So only 20% require public charging, which also includes like me, because like me and Chappy, we don't have charger at home. You have charger at home.
Yes.
But the thing is, you don't need to charge every single day. It's like you only charge like maybe once or twice a week. Like for me, maybe 3 times, because I top up very short bursts. And that's more than enough for everyone. And also, the mindset for EV drivers that you do not charge when the battery is low.
Yeah.
If there's opportunity, just top up. Then you don't need to worry about running out of range, because when there's charging, there's opportunity to charge, I top up. If let's say there's no place to charge, it's okay, I have more than enough range. If there's place to charge, okay, I charge top up. And like we said before, right, destinations, TMB Electron, if you look at the trend right now, looks like every single TMB premise will be a charging station.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's good, man.
Yeah, so every town, every city, even Alostar, they have the second location with not just one DC charger, right? It's a 240 kilowatt DC charger with 4 nozzles.
It's crazy. And they're putting in fast chargers, man.
Yeah, 240 kilowatt with 4 nozzles, and they're going everywhere. And what I appreciate is that they're going to the underserved area, because the way they look at it is that they look at the Malaysian map and see, okay, where are the neglected spots or the place that really need charger, and they cover places like, for example, Muazzam. They also cover places like Jeli in Kelantan as well. So destination charging, I think we are more or less sorted. We are seeing more charge points coming up in every single town, cities, even small kampongs. Like a lot of people are happy that, oh my god, my kampong finally got DC charger. And then we're seeing that expanding. Like even like Kota Baru, in the past few months, we see new chargers deployed by TAB Electron, and also Charge EV also deployed high powered DC charger at Aeon Kota Baru as well. So there's more charge points even in the East Coast. And also to add on, like Sabah Sarawak, last time it was super underserved. Now Gentari and SCB have deployed DC chargers in Kuching, Sriaman, Sibu, Bintulu, and Miri. So that makes it possible for you to drive an EV from Kuching all the way to Miri. And also, we talk about long distance drive, right? Yes, we have quite a number of places to charge along the highway. I think traveling from Johor to Perlis, not really an issue. To Kota Baru, no issue. To Pahang, Kuantan, no issue. To Terengganu, no issue. But the thing is, we need to scale up. The number of charge points is okay, but once peak season, can it manage to load? Because most of the time, right, like if we drive out today, drive weekend, most of the time they're underutilized. And only peak season will come out. So when the surge comes in, can it cope with the thing? So like we discussed in last episode, right, there is not a clear mandate to build dedicated EV charging hubs. We need megawatt charging hub with at least 20 DC charge points in strategic zones along the highway. That has faced a severe barrier. That's why you don't see charge point operators coming out with such a huge charging hubs. But like you said, despite all these challenges, they still persevere, and we see a lot of new deployment off the highway. Like for example, just last week, Gentari turned on a DC charger at Air Keroh Toll Plaza. This is off the highway. You can see a Petronas station. They have repurposed an NGV site, formerly NGV, to convert to an EV charger. And just behind it, there's Everton Heritage Hotel, where Charge Plus has 2 DC chargers there as well. And we're going to see more of these chargers being deployed off the highway. We've seen as well in Sungai Petani. So just off the highway, there's after Toll Plaza, there's this Amanjaya Walk. So they have also deployed 240 kilowatt DC charger. And we're seeing a lot of these deployments next to the highway. That's how they overcome.
They try to mitigate the problem.
Yes, try to mitigate the problem by going through all this. So there are avenues to it. And like we said earlier in this video, most EVs these days, they can get to a destination on a single charge. So like I said, start your journey with 100% charge, go to the destination and find a charger there. And there's ample chargers. Even like Ipoh, this is stretch, I think Jalan Kuala Kangsar. That road, right, I think there's like 4 or 5 dealership all with DC chargers.
All with chargers,
I think they are like 13, if I count correctly, it's about 13 DC charge points. So that street's really a mega hub in Ipoh.
For me, I think I want to make it a point to say, big shout out to all the CPOs, man. They've done the impossible, to be honest, because it's so challenging to deploy chargers. And if you ask me, if the government said that they wanted 10,000 chargers by the end of last year, it would have been so easily done. the CPOs are all capable.
Yep.
We've spoken to all of them. In fact, like even TNB, this is like a new thing that they're doing. I know power is their thing, but installing high power EV chargers is a whole other engineering complex problem that a lot of people don't get right, but they did. And what I'm saying is that private sector capability is there, but CPOs come and say, okay, the challenge is we want to deploy, but it's money upfront for us. And if we're putting millions in big charging facilities and it's only used during peak season, it doesn't make business sense for us. And at the same time, the government is not producing a green lane for CPOs that wanting to go into these locations. Highway, the highway authority not making it easy for all these brands to come and install because of all of the red tape. So, if anything, if you guys think NoQueue doesn't exist, it's not because the people who are in the industry is not capable, but it's because there's so many problems that it's difficult for them to deploy.
And one example of the capability is that just look at GPO. That location itself, right? There's 2 CPOs and there's like 40 over charge points. You have DC Honda, your charge EV, deploying so many chargers out there. Yeah. And DC Honda also deployed this, they call it EV forecourt at Molo Medini. That place has like 28 DC charge points. So you can see that our CPOs are ready to go at scale, but make it easy for them to deploy, to do their job so that they can help meet this target.
Yeah, the technology capabilities, like, so when we look at charger, we look at it and say, okay, it's just a charger. But the engineering marvel that goes behind designing a high power multi-nozzle charging hub is crazy. One of the ones that I think I want to point out is Elmina. Elmina is a DC to DC structure, and you look at it, it's like, okay, it's just these are just chargers. But the challenges that the CPO went through trying to get that up and running wasn't easy, but they made it. So I guess for me, the proof is this: if something is so convenient and so easy to use, like for me, if I charge at Elmina, it's super quick because my car is 800 volt, right? So before I even get my coffee, the car is already 80%. Sometimes when I'm doing DC there, okay, it's only DC. When I'm charging there, I have to set my car to 100% DC so that I'm still charging. So my point is, when it's so easy to use and so transparent to use, when it's so intuitive to use, that means it's so difficult to produce. When it's so hard to use, people don't even put any thought into it. Yep. So when I talk about putting thought, I really want to put it out there. I don't think the government has put in a lot of thought when it comes to how do we make charger deployment easier for the CPOs to fill our 10,000 charger targets. So that's my point.
Yep.
Okay, next comment is from Redcliffe123. EV spare parts are so expensive to maintain.
Maintain? What to maintain? Washer fluid? Aircon filter?
Charger. I don't know. I mean, okay, so maybe let's break it down. So number one, maybe 2 things here. Spare parts and maintenance. So these two are 2 different things, okay? Spare parts is when you need to replace something because it's broken or it's damaged or whatever, right?
Yep.
Most of the EV brands that I know of offer free service. Am I right in saying that, Alex?
Free service, I mean free maintenance.
Free maintenance. That means,
no, not really.
That means I go there, I don't have to pay for service.
No, depends on the package you buy. Some they include, some they don't include.
Okay, so but
here we don't include.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry. What I wanted to say is, free service is an option. Tesla, for example, after you buy the car, you don't see them unless there's a problem.
Yep.
Because they have sensors and everything like that. So, for example, BMW
inclusive service.
Inclusive of service.
Once every 2 years.
Yeah. Yes, once every 2 years. Our car, we have to pay 300 ringgit every maybe 6 months.
1 year.
Every 15,000 kilometers. And I think Proton has also calculated the Proton EMAS 7, for example, to service the car over 5 years is maybe 3,000 ringgit.
Something like that.
I don't remember, but
it's about 300 ringgit per year.
Yeah, we did the reporting on that. So in terms of maintenance, EVs are actually very cheap.
Yep.
The only really wear and tear item is tires. But I have to say, it really depends on the driver. So we are a good example. Alex and I drive the same car. We drive the Kia EV6, same spec and everything. So I had to replace my tire at 30,000 kilometers, all four sets. Alex is now almost 60.
Over 60,000 now.
Holy shit! It's still using the same.
Yes, I still on the stock tires, but you can see it's getting thinner. It's already touching the warning line already.
Holy shit!
Yeah, but it shows that it can last long. It depends on how you drive.
60,000.
Yes.
Wow.
On the original tires. 3 years, guys. 3 years, 60,000.
So it depends on the driver. I guess what Alex is trying to say is, hey, any tire sponsors out there? Anybody wanna sponsor Alex a set of tires for his EV? Please do, because our tires are 20-inch lah, so a bit mahal lah.
And another thing is to the tires, right? If you look at the affordable EVs, right? They're not using any EV specific tires.
No need EV special tires.
Yeah, they're using normal tires like E-5, E-7. They're using normal tires. And if you look at the E-7, right, the tires are no much different, or some I think could be even cheaper than the X70. Yeah. So not really a big deal.
So in terms of maintenance, I think in this comment, in terms of maintenance, EV is cheap lah.
It's much cheaper, like definitely. Yeah.
You don't have to change brake pad, no fluids, no nothing.
Yeah.
Now we talk about spare parts.
So you need to change brake pads, but it lasts damn long.
Okay, my brake pads are still good.
Yeah.
Again, we talk about driver depend. So two different drivers here. So, but even me on the extreme side, which need to change tires at 30,000 kilometers, the brake pads are still solid.
Yeah.
The thing is because our EV6 has the pedal shifters and I can play with the regen settings and I really like that.
Yep.
But even so, I think most people will have the regen setting on a high level lah, just because you want to maintain the range. So you don't use the brakes that much. And it's only going to get better because you went and tried the BMW, the latest BMW.
Or iX3.
Yeah. And the braking performance is crazy,
It's
right?
so crazy, and you can't tell whether you're using physical brakes or not. And BMW says that 98% of braking on a daily basis are done by regen. And the physical brakes only apply when it's emergency.
Yeah. So that's why EV cars don't need brake pad replacement. Now, okay, we talk about spare parts. Okay, I guess maybe if you talk about the EV component spare parts, yes, they are a bit more pricier than the normal car spare parts. If you talk about maybe the onboard charger or the onboard inverter, those things are generally expensive. Even inverters that are not from EVs are expensive. But the warranty covers that for 10 years.
8 years, mostly 8 years. Yeah, they cover the battery and the motor, the high voltage system.
Yeah. So I don't think that's an issue. Then maybe you ask, okay, what happens after 8-10 years? Dude, if the prices of all these things in your car after 10 years that is not cheap, or if you cannot get recon or second hand, then that car is not from this world. It's probably a DeLorean that comes from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So I guess you and me, Alex, are you worried about spare parts?
Not really, yeah. Because firstly, right, we talk about the parts, there are fewer parts, there are fewer things to go wrong. Like I said before, right, like I think the single biggest, most expensive thing is actually the battery. Yeah. And the battery, right, there are two things. Like number one is that the battery lasts longer than you think. I feel that that's the last thing you need to worry about.
Yeah.
I think other things will go wrong first, like maybe your door handles will break, all that, before the battery becomes a problem. And secondly, the price of battery is getting cheaper over time. Yeah. And by then, maybe after 8-10 years, right, there might be even better EVs out there that's far cheaper than what we have right now. So must just buy a new EV or scrap it. Yeah,
just swap it. Talk about spare parts, right? Even 12-volt battery lasts longer in an EV. So my car, touch wood, now already 3 years, I didn't have to swap my 12-volt. I know that in my normal car, I have to swap the 12-volt around maybe 16 months, 1.5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fast. Okay.
It's quite fast. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe again, driver problem. I don't know. All right, let's go to the next one. Well, WF Reds says, we going backward on EV movement. Yes, think so. Should really look at China on their EV journey. Why is it important to move on towards electrification? Our government doesn't really care. Continue kasih subsidi minyak kau-kau untuk tarik pengundi. Macam tu je lah rakyat kena gula-gula. Sampai bila? Sampai Abang Jamil mampus. This is reference to Pramli. I guess we talked about this before. Yep. Yes, you're right. Again, you cannot pull yourself away from a drug. You mentioned subsidy is a drug. If you don't have a 10-step plan, if you don't have rehab, and the government is not talking about this. So yeah, you're right. Okay, Firdaus Amin says, the government need to push mandatory to have EV charger for every residential finished built in 2026 onward. For all residential, at least must have a minimum of 8 AC charger and 2 DC charger. I think he's referring to high rise. We talked about high rise.
Right to charge.
The right to charge. You did some study about Singapore, right? So
Yes.
Singapore, how many chargers already now?
So Singapore,
25,000 or something.
yeah, as the end of 2025, they have 25 EV charge points in Singapore.
Double plus our target.
Yes. 25,000 charge points. And because what happens that in the past few years, right, they target, okay, every HDB block, HDB is basically the public housing, must have EV chargers by end of 2025. And end of last year, 90% of them are equipped with chargers. And they say that right now, the utilization is 18%. So basically, they're building ahead of demand.
Yeah.
Because they're going to this part, okay, we want to make sure that we want to go for electrification, the infra must be ready. Because they know that the infrastructure is important to increase adoption. So they did the groundwork early. They give contracts, get OCPs, okay, bid which HDB you want to do, and deploy the chargers. So that's why Singapore now has 25,000 charge points, and half of them are publicly accessible.
Yeah. We talk about Singapore, right? So apparently Singapore, 40% of
New cars
are EVs, right?
Yes, over 40%. I think it should be 45, 47.
Yeah.
Almost half.
So
And the best-selling brand is no longer Toyota. It's BYD.
what's the best-selling BYD model in Singapore?
I'm not too sure. But I think Tesla is the best-selling sedan. You're not mistaken? Yeah, sedan. So, yeah. So, some say, nobody's going to kill the Civic. Look at Singapore. The best-selling sedan is
Killed the
Tesla.
Corolla.
Yeah. Correct.
So, yeah.
Actually, Corolla's dead. Right? You know, in Malaysia last year, right? There are more Tesla Model 3s than Toyota Corolla Altis. Yeah.
Now people buy the Corolla Cross.
Yeah, that's why they step up to SUVs.
Okay. Okay, let's go to the next comment. Chuen CV2Z says, the idea of EV charging hub along the highway is absolutely spot on. Aligning all the charging apps and or mandating credit card payments is also a must. In any case, based on my observation during my outstation trip, Klang Valley to Penang during the Christmas holidays, I stopped 3 times just to see the situation the way you guys tried. 2 were full. I have a very bad feeling that Chinese New Year Raya 2026 will be a shit show in terms of highway EV charging queues. I am currently a full EV household with the policies or lack thereof in place to support real mass market adoption. I actually expect I will have to give up one of my EVs to go back to ICE and PHEV, which is a shame. Well, I don't know if I want to go back. But you know, my household is mixed lah. I have petrol and I have EV, but I prefer using my EV more than my petrol car, my diesel car actually. So yeah, I think you have a point. Yes, and I think we've already touched about you know, what needs to be done to have more charging facilities along the highway.
Yeah, and also I believe all the CPOs are aware of this concern. So that's the reason why they are working around this limitation by building more closer to the highway stops. Like for example, we mentioned earlier, they're building off the highway and there are more chargers at the destination. So instead of, I know most of us is habitual to when you stop at R&R, you want to charge or you want to pump petrol. Even petrol station, there's a long queue during festive season.
Yeah, for sure.
So regardless of chargers or petrol station, you got a queue during festive season anyway. And I think that's a good problem to have for EV to signal that, this is a case scenario right now, we need more chargers at highway. So that builds a strong case. But at the same time, the CPOs are recognizing this challenge. So that's why they're building more chargers off the highways. We've seen TNB Electron like Berang. So Berang, I think now Berang. Yeah, now it's going to be a huge issue because Berang, for those who know, they're powered by BaaS battery. So the reason why they do that is because as a temporary solution. So you need chargers at this location, but there's no power supply. So the idea was if there's power supply coming into this area, then they can take these chargers out and deploy a permanent charger that's powered by the grid. But until now, so I think more than 1 year, more than 2 years already, right? There's no substation there. So the BESS, battery energy storage chargers are still there. And with more traffic, that battery is going to gong very fast and then you can't charge your car anymore.
More traffic and more cars with faster charging and bigger battery. So imagine if a Denza goes there, it's done, man. 100 kilowatt hour.
It's like imagine like for those who don't know, like imagine like a water tank in your house, right? So let's say you got 10 people in a household. If let's say 5% take a long shower, then there's not much water for everyone else. But at least we've seen TNB Electron, they deploy a charger at the Polytechnic. Polytechnic, Sultan Azlan Shah, is off the highway as well. You need to exit to go there. So there's a DC charger there. So you're seeing a lot of effort by CPO to address this issue by building off the highway. Like we said, also like Tangkap. But Tangkap I also don't recommend, because actually for those who don't know,
Tangkap is like iffy lah. I don't know what's going on there. The pit stop, Tangkap pit stop.
Yeah, because Tangkap, right, the infrastructure is good. There's 8 DC charge points, and it's designed for commercial trucks. So it's designed for lorries, buses who need a charge. And Tangkap is a sweet spot because it's right smack in the middle between KL and JB. So when they launched that site, right, the idea was to have this site and they have a substation coming in. So they deploy BAS. So for those who don't know, right, Tangkap actually is powered by battery energy storage system. So the challenge is this. They thought that, the substation will be up in a few months, then we can take out the battery. Turns out after 1 year, there's no substation yet. That's the challenge of CPO, power supply. So the battery is still there, and during festive season, right, P100, what happened to the chargers? Why from 8 chargers become like 1 charger? It's because the battery is empty. So now you know.
Yeah, again, it just underlines the fact that, the government needs to step in and, what problems we have, let's speed this up. Because what Tangkap Pit Stop is doing is trying to increase the adoption of commercial EVs. Because why people going down to Singapore, and a lot of the Singapore commercial trucks and all that need to go EV because Singapore is putting in what's this called, carbon tax. So it makes sense for them. So they want to do it. The private sector, the industry wants to go and move to EV. Government's like, whatever lah, no substation. Too bad lah. You guys figure it out lah.
And then it's
messed up, man.
And then for those who don't know, right, there's a lot of chargers being deployed around the country, and even highway RNRs, they're not turned on because of power supply issue.
Power supply, and so we go back to the red tape. I don't think saying power supply issue is accurate. It comes back again to why there is a power supply issue. Why is it not being approved? Why? So why was it built and then
not turned on for
because to build that, of course, they need the kebenaran merancang, all the planning, all the approval, all the papers, right? So all that is done. Then they will decide. We can build. Then they build. Then they cannot turn on because what?
Classic example. Westbound from LPT from Kuantan all the way to KL, right? So besides the Gambang charger, which we mentioned earlier, which is terrible, 50 kilowatt single nozzle. Further down, there's Temerloh Arena westbound. There's a 180 kilowatt DC charger deployed by Shell 1.5 years ago. And it's not turned on.
Still not on?
Still not on. Holy There's SC license, but it's not turned on. And the plastic wrapping they cover to protect the new charger? The whole plastic reput already, So it's waiting there. Imagine the CPO invested a lot of money to put the charger and cannot turn on. And how much they're losing every month. And similarly in Penang, right, actually Charge EV, they have a huge site at Seberang Perai. I think what site architect is a e-loaded system, DC grid system.
Wow, e-loaded.
Yes, with I think 12 nozzles. Still not turned on. It has been deployed for almost a year.
What's the problem?
I have no idea, but I got a feeling it's the same issue lah. Similar issues for all the rest, because you see, CPOs are eager. They can bring the best technology. They can
e-loaded is not cheap, man.
Yeah, it's not cheap. The CPOs can invest the money, but if you're not making it easier and they cannot turn on, then it's going to be tough for them to move on, man.
Then they'll go like, okay lah, F this, man, because I put millions and nobody is pushing to make it happen. So why should I spend money?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's sad. It's like imagine building telco towers but can't turn on.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Man. It's an infra game.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Linus TW. Okay, I think this is a very interesting one. In the world, only China is pushing for EV. Rest of the world, they don't. And for big car brands, none is pushing for EV adoption. And what is new? China now also moved away from pure EV to PHEV. So EV is not the future because China has the lead and the rest of powerful countries don't want to be number 2. Inilah a good example of a netizen.
China's not the only one pushing EV. I think, in fact,
all this is BS.
Yeah, China's not number 1 in EV, in terms of adoption.
Yes, I know. It's a European country.
Yes.
Adoption is much higher.
Yep.
You talk about big car brands. Did you know BMW is committed into EVs? The M cars will all be EVs because they believe the powertrain is so much better even for performance driving.
Yep.
What the hell are you talking about, man?
And the number 1 country, I think, for those who don't know, is
Scandinavian country.
Yeah, Norway.
Yeah.
Norway. I think
90%.
Yeah.
EV adoption. Sorry for interrupting, but I got excited. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Correct. Yeah. So it's not just. I think Europe is doing a good job, and also not just about the cars itself, the infrastructure. So even Europe has a very clear plan to mandate DC chargers along highways, availability of chargers, and also they besides the USB-C port, they also I think they make it compulsory for all these chargers to be equipped with card terminals as well, to make it easier for everyone.
Yeah.
So EU is doing. In fact, it's better than UK. I think why Malaysia and UK always have the same issue. Anyway, so yeah, so basically,
Why? I wonder why.
yeah. So basically, with the right policy, with the clear mandate, things can happen. And you said that China's now moving away from pure EV to PHEV.
Yeah.
There's actually two reasons for that, lah.
Yes.
Number one is the reason why they do PHEV is because of Europe. And why? I explain. Because
Tariffs.
Because Europe want to impose tariffs against
They
Chinese
want
cars.
to protect their industry.
Yeah, because they want to protect the European industry. So that's why they impose tariffs, and I think eventually they settle in the sense that okay, we're not going to slap a high tariff, but we're going to set minimum price.
Yeah.
So China basically said, okay, you only set tariff for EV, confirm EV only, EV, if this petrol engine is okay, right? PHEV okay, right? Okay. Then China went this rampage. Let's PHEV every single thing out there. PHEV SUV, PHEV wagon,
motorcycle.
I won't say motorcycle, but PHEV sedans. Even the Dolphin, apparently they're working on a PHEV Dolphin. Yeah. So that was supposed to enter Europe very soon. And the second part is how do we push
The on the fence
people?
Go with PHEV.
Yeah, so basically go with PHEV because PHEV they see as a very good middle ground to give people the taste of EV. Yeah. Because for those who don't know, you buy a PHEV doesn't mean I buy PHEV, no problem, I can just pump petrol, no problem, the car charges. No, actually PHEV, for those who don't know, you have to treat it like an EV.
Yeah.
If you buy a plug-in hybrid, you have to plug in all the time. Because you're supposed to benefit from the battery.
Charge the car. Yes,
charge all the time. Because if you don't charge
the engine, not going to charge the car.
Yeah, because if you're not going to charge the car, right, the engine needs to do double duty. It needs to move the car and to charge the battery, which makes it very inefficient.
Yeah.
So you need to charge the car. So once you get into that cycle of charging car every single day, then you realize, hey, wait a minute, actually I can go full EV.
I don't need a petrol station actually.
I run on full electric. Then hopefully with that, once you try a PHEV, then your next car will be an EV.
Yeah. So it's like when you drive a PHEV, right? So when you drive a PHEV, right, you're in the town, all quiet and smooth, nice torquey, electric power. Suddenly you need to go on the highway and then you press the accelerator and then the engine kicks in, right? You go like, oh, so noisy. You can feel the engine kicks in. I don't understand why people want the engine.
It's for backup. So basically it's to position as a backup because Volvo has done the same path as well.
To what? Avoid range anxiety, whatever.
It's to basically, that's why like Volvo, when they promote the XC60 plug-in hybrid, they call it an EV with backup. So day-to-day drive, EV. But when you go long distance, if you're scared no place to charge, at least you have a backup plan. So, but once you get into that habit of charging a car every single day, then you realize that, hey, actually, what's the issue?
I wouldn't say you can charge for PHEV. You need to charge your car every single day. It's a small battery.
Yes,
and you can charge using your 3-pin lah, basically.
But at least PHEV, the batteries are getting bigger and bigger. Because even in China, they mandate that to qualify as a PHEV, to qualify to get that green number plate, right? Your PHEV must do at least 100 or 120 kilometers on pure electric
power,
range. Anything less, because you can check, let's make it green, right? Okay, let's put a small battery, and then got EV mode. Yes, tick the box, it can become a green car. So China is increasing that standard. You must have that EV range because 120 kilometers, I think, should be more enough for a couple of days on a single charge. So once you get to the habit, why go back to ICE?
Yeah, why go back to ICE? We talk about adoption, right? Even in Southeast Asia, the adoption is good. We talk about Singapore. 40% of new car sales are now EV. The number one car sold in Singapore is an EV. In Thailand, 21% of the market share is EV. Malaysia, year-on-year growth, double-digit growth.
Is actually 100% growth.
Yeah, it's all EV. So. What are you talking about that people are going backwards? So you talk about China. Okay, Alex already explained, but let's talk about common sense, right? Let's not even talk about data. Let's talk about common sense. So let's say China, right? They already been number one, like you said, right, in the comment section just now. So China is number one. Let me just find the comment section again. Okay, so China is number one, and now they're going back, right? Do you think, right, China already invested in all the infrastructure for charging, blah, 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 will tell all their manufacturers, okay, stop. Go back. No need to do EV. Doesn't make sense, right? Do you think a country that has protected and secured the supply chain for rare earth metals to produce batteries, not for just devices, but for EVs, will then say, okay lah, no need, let's go backwards. It doesn't make sense, man. So that's why I'm saying, I mean, we were skeptical 3 years ago. We were skeptical, but we put our mouth. Put our money where mouth is. You can't move your mouth. You put the money where the mouth is, and like, okay, let's do this. We bought EVs. We bought chargers. We started doing EV charger installation to really understand this technology. And I did mention that it's going to take 10 years for Malaysia to fully adopt EV. And I am so wrong, man. I said 10, I revised it to 5. Now we're not even in the 4th year. Malaysia is full on.
Yeah, and also to add on to that, like the PHEV one, right? So this interview, it's like a roundtable discussion about EVs, whether they really dominate the market. This was from the World Economic Forum at Davos recently. So they invited Stella Lee from BYD. So she said,
in China, 5 to 10 years ago, PHEV is around 60 to 70% share for new energy. But then this year, from last year, 2025, flip over, 60% is electric car because the charging infrastructure in the house, in the public, is well built up.
In China, right, initially PHEV actually has dominance. Actually, if you look at the early electrified cars in China, they're mostly plug-in hybrids.
Yeah.
And then majority of them are plug-in hybrids. Now, EVs actually growing the market share because I think most people who have driven PHEVs, they realize that, hey, actually I can live on electric because you can charge at home. Then why do I need a petrol car? So and then they realize that actually I don't need 1,000 kilometer range. Because a lot of people who hasn't driven EVs before, they say, I won't buy EV until this 1,000 kilometer range. But once you start using the car, right, hey, wait a second, actually I don't need such a big battery because a bigger battery is less efficient. And then eventually you say, actually my real world range, I don't need more than 500. So that would be a sweet spot. So eventually more people are converting to EV. So the market share of EVs is actually growing in China. And you can see that brands that used to offer like huge range, like 1,000 over kilometer range, like the Zeekr 111, they actually had a super long range model, and the battery is like 120 kilowatt hour, which is huge. And then they discontinued that because there's lack of demand, because people it doesn't make sense.
Batteries are expensive, heavy, doesn't make sense. Okay, we talk about PHEV. I want to go to the next comment. So this is the second last comment before we go to the last one. Zach Legend says, well, PHEV is a good choice for now. So we talk about PHEV. People who are on the fence, I'm going to say this. Yes, PHEV is a good choice because you don't have to worry about, do I need to install a charger? Where is chargers? Blah, blah, blah. It's a good way to transition because it kind of tries to get you to break your old habits of looking for petrol station and filling up like a petrol car, because people have this habit. All of you maybe agree, put in the comment section, right? People who use petrol cars, they will drive the car all the way to maybe almost empty, or the light comes on, then they will fill up the car. You know why people do that? Because we don't want to inconvenience ourselves at petrol stations. So that habit you're going to break first when you use PHEV. So there are benefits with PHEVs, but there are also downsides. I think maintenance is much higher. I did a Proton with the EMA 7 PHEV. They did mention that the maintenance is still cheaper than an ICE car. But it's more expensive than an EV.
Because you need to change your engine oil, your spark plug. Because I think his follow-up comment is that is it cheaper maintenance because they only use EV mode and engine rarely use. The thing is, whether you use the engine or not, there's like a time frame you need to change the engine oil. It's part of the service maintenance as well. And
then I mean the EV mode. The problem is I think most cars, so like for example the EMA 7, I don't have like a force EV mode. Even most cars, I think all cars don't have the force EV mode, because what happens if you need more power, the car won't suddenly just die, right? So you cannot really user control the EV mode. So sometimes maybe because the engine is so smooth or what, or maybe even if you don't intend to, the car will go into hybrid mode, or the car will go into petrol mode if the sensors or whatever detects that you need more power, and so you can't really control that.
I think you can You can, like for example the BMW 330e I tried before, right? You can actually run an EV mode, and then
like specifically. So what happens when the battery dies?
So
when the battery finish,
it switch automatically. So
Yeah.
either the battery is low,
Yeah.
or let's say I think they can let you drive EV mode up to like, if no mistake, 80 or 90 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
So once you go beyond that, then the engine kicks in.
Yeah, so
hybrid
that's
mode.
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So there's no like hard to say like, okay, I want EV mode all the way. Like 800 above 80 kilometers, it's EV mode. So my point is the car,
Yep.
and this is what I don't like about EVs in general, especially with Teslas, is the car will decide when what happens, when whatever happens.
Which in a way is a good thing. Like,
Sometimes we forget, so that's the thing, right? So sometimes somebody chocho us, or we need to overtake, and the power comes in. So what I'm trying to say is the maintenance cheaper if you use EV mode only? Theoretically, maybe, because you don't use the engine as much, but there is that 6 months period where you need to change the oil anyway.
Yeah, whether you use or not, you're gonna change
Yes,
it.
but what I'm trying to say is, in a real world situation, the ICE engine will kick in more often than you think.
Unless you drive very carefully. Because I know some people who drive an X5, right?
They challenge themselves to not get
Exceed.
the ICE engine to kick in.
Yes. Because like daily, you start in traffic, right? Getting above 90 is very easy during the normal traffic days, because we start 50, 60, 50, 60, enter 60, below 90. So you can actually drive without a single drop of fuel.
Yeah. I mean, in the city, yes, I agree. But I think our towns and our way of our way of living is commuting.
Yeah.
We stay in suburbs, and our suburbs are like super far.
Yep.
People that I know of, people who stay in Malacca and work in KL.
Yeah, correct.
So you're not gonna go full electric.
Yeah,
man.
of course. But overall, you still save more, because you
Especially
only use
because most of the time petrol is burned during
highway.
stop.
Highway, and then most time, let's say once you get closer to destination, you'll be fully electric.
And the good part is, okay, the other good part about, actually, I'm trying to be fair, but I do think hybrid has its place. PHEV has its place, especially on the highway, because electric motors are not efficient on the highway.
Yes.
And ICE engines are efficient on the highway. So it's best of both worlds, but not all of it is. I mean, I want to say is, realistically, there are pros and cons.
There are definitely pros and cons. But for me, I think I see PHEV as a good stepping stone. Once you jump the habit, right, and you realize that, hey, actually, if I charge every day, you realize that, hey, actually, I save a lot of money using electric mode. Then you start to tune and say, then you try to avoid going to petrol station as much as possible, because you know you enjoy the savings of going full electric. Then you realize that, you know what, since I'm really doing this habit, right, might as well just switch
Go
to
full EV.
Full EV for the next car.
But I think the other problem is PHEV also does not have a good reputation because of the earlier BMW, Mercedes PHEVs. Not PHEVs, sorry, hybrids.
No, PHEVs, especially because a lot of people, they apparently a lot of those old 33OEs. There's a lot of companies that offering the hybrid delete.
The delete, the delete option.
To convert it into pure ICE. Because it's just so clunky and the battery doesn't last. Because the reason why the battery doesn't last, because the battery is small. So the charge cycle...
It's old tech battery.
And the charge cycle is going to be more. So let's say, for example, if you're on EV, right, you have a 60 kilowatt hour battery. 60 kilowatt, your charge is one cycle. But for a PHEV, let's say you got smaller battery like 30 or 20 kilowatt hour, right? To do that same distance, you got to charge 3 cycles. So that's going to speed up the degradation.
So it's going to be interesting. You know what's going to happen? So when Proton launches the Proton EMAS PHEV, I think like that's going to do what Proton did for the EV market. It's going to open the eyes for a lot of people, because what has happened is when people saw the EMAS 7, and a lot of people who didn't want to buy EV immediately bought it because it's so nice, right? But there were still people on the fence. So there were still the fringe people who were on the fence. I like everything about the EMAS 7, but I can't believe that it's an EV. I like the space. I like everything, the comfort, the everything. So with PHEV, EMAS 7 PHEV, I think people will jump on it because, now I have this assurance that I can do the distance and I can always fill it up.
Yeah, and then I think we've seen some comments, right? They say, I like the EMAS 7, but I wish it had an engine. So your prayers are answered with this one.
Yeah. So we'll see. But they don't report. We don't monitor car sales numbers, PHEV sales numbers. So is that an EV sale number or is it a car sale number?
Which one?
For PHEV. Like, when we do our monthly reporting.
We always do EVs only. And here's a challenge. I think JPJ needs to update the way they report the cars.
The way they classify cars.
Yeah, because right now, if this car goes to sell, it'll be classified as hybrid. So it's going to mix up with every single thing. But I guess we can sort out manually because, like, for example, for EMAS 7, if it's hybrid, right, it's only the PHEV. So we need to really clean up the database.
Yes.
So hopefully the folks
JPJ
at JPJ update that. Yeah.
Please, if anybody is from JPJ or watching, or if you have a close friend at JPJ, please tell them to update the system so that it makes our reporting easier. Because hybrid, there's a lot. There's the Serena,
hybrid.
all the pseudo hybrids.
Oh, and the e-power. So basically,
there's the e-power. Then there's the pseudo hybrids with the big,
hybrid.
the 48 volt battery.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
that's also considered as a hybrid.
Yeah. I think we're going a bit off here, but I feel that for EVs, right? I feel this might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel that plug-in hybrids I think they should deserve that green plate status. Because they use chargers and they're meant to be charged.
Okay, the problem is yeah, you're right. Okay, I wanted to say is the problem is there was no proper classification of what qualifies you to get the white plate.
There was. It's for zero emissions. So only 2 categories right now I can think of.
But zero emission for you have to classify zero emission for how long? Blah 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 blah.
Zero.
So then
it's only
PHEVs don't.
Yeah,
qualify.
Exactly. So I feel that they should qualify for that. Because if you look at China, the green plate is for everything that is plug-in. Even the plug-in hybrids are also green plate. Yeah,
so what I'm trying to say is they have to change the classification where, okay, you need to be zero emission in these conditions. City driving, for example, or 90% of the time, for example. Because if they say, okay, if you have to change the classification, so how do we categorize? So you're saying that
you should
as long as you can plug it in to charge, then it gives you the white plate, is it?
But it must, like you said, there must be some requirements. Like for example, China, right? The newer plug-in hybrids standard is you must do more than 100 kilometers of range on pure electric.
Yeah.
So because China back then, anything with the plug-in port is considered as a green plate.
Yeah.
So they make it stricter and stricter for the ICE because they want to reduce the carbon emission. Because
but the problem is, like, right now even the current BEVs also cannot get the plate. Now with the PHEVs, how to get the plate?
Correct. But for me, is ideally, I think they should be included. And then I feel that, because at the end of the day, look at objective. Because the reason why they say they want to have that green plate, so that one of it is safety, right? So at least Bomba or anyone can recognize that this is EV. So they know how to handle it. Or another one is they can qualify for certain things. I don't know, like parking for EV only, so that people can tell.
Yeah.
So I believe that plug-in hybrid should have its own classification like that as well, or be included as well.
Well, good point. I think. What do you guys think? You make sense, but I think it should be just BEV only. But follow China lah. I mean, there's a reason why they do it. But I think the qualification should be strict lah, like 120 kilometers on battery power only.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, but let us know in the comment section also what do you guys think. Okay, we go now to the last comment, but I think we'll skip this because Frederick Dalu Sim 5136 says the government better install more and more chargers, particularly around Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, because I can see more EVs on KK roads nowadays. I think with regards to charger infrastructure, government, blah blah blah, and whether we need more chargers, we've covered that extensively in all the previous questions. But I'm not from Sabah. I think, Alex, you stay over the other side.
Yep.
So do you see EVs growing there?
Yeah, definitely. And then we can see that from the charge operators because there are actually a lot more chargers in KK compared to like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of players, even like Charge Sini. We also seen Jom Charge deploying. Even in Mount Kinabalu there, right, Kudasang, right? There's a Pine Resort there. There's a 50 kilowatt DC charger there. Yeah. And it's 150.
I love Kudasang.
Yeah. There's a charger there. I think that's probably one of the highest. I'm not sure whether it's higher than getting that point.
Highest altitude.
Yeah. So there's a charger there. So there's a demand. And I think you're right. The government should help to facilitate. And one option is maybe MBKK, the council there, can work with CPO to deploy street level chargers, like what's happening in DBKL. Because right now you see Penang, I see Penang and DBKL are being proactive. They actually provide sites and they work together with CPO to deploy street level charging.
Yeah.
So I think that can be done the same with other councils.
I think DBKL is doing a good job, despite it being like really controversial because people in Tamanto made noise when I think was it Jom Charge or EVC deployed the street side parking charging, and it says, you're taking away parking lots and stuff like that. I mean, people will always make noise, but if you have the vision and you know where this is going, then some sacrifices has to be made for a better future.
Yep.
You have to make sacrifices for a better future. Okay, I had fun in today's episode, actually answering your comments, reading your comments, and talking about what the comments mean and things like that. What do you think? I think it was pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we should do more. So the only way we can do more is if we get more comments, more really awesome comments from you guys. So please drop them in the comment section below. All right. I think that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Anything you want to add? I think we covered quite a lot.
Yeah, I think to the next one.
All right. So this is me, Amin.
This is Alex.
Okay, but before that, again, I keep forgetting the script. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like the show. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And comments, suggestion, feedback, put them in the comment section. We are also available on a podcast. Give us a 5-star rating if you listen to us on podcast. I want to say send us a voice note via email, but I think the email voice note thing is not happening. So I think for the next episode, I'll talk about like how you can directly voice note us on WhatsApp. So I have to figure out how to do that. Yep. And then I think that should be better. And then because I wanna try something new. I wanna be able to play a voice note from you guys on our episode. So if you want, send us a voice note so that you'll be the first, and then people can also listen to your voice in our next episode. Alright? Okay. So this is me, Amin.
This is Alex.
Catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.